for a sub, and that brings us 68 away from the goal. There will be a post show if we hit it. Let's go. This is all fascinating, by the way. I love this shit. You know what?
So much. You're just a fount of knowledge, and you're just spitting so fast.
Well, you know, I kind of cursed with like an eidetic memory. Like I have a pretty photographic memory, but I still have some notes here. And you asked me about Wilcock. I started covering him because I was just fascinated that anybody would listen to this guy's drivel. Because I had been like sort of tangentially, I think that's the word. Like I wasn't really into him, but I was like off in the distance, keeping track of what he was doing. And in the year 2000, he had a website, previous to the year 2000, leading up to the year 2000, he had a website called Ascension 2000 that was super popular. And he was telling everybody that we were all going to get rainbow light bodies and superpowers when the year 2000 hit. And he was grifting really hard. He was selling psychic sessions with him for like $300 for 20 minutes or something. And that's how he got on my radar. I'm like, who's this wackadoo saying we're all going to get superpowers when the year 2000 hits? And then, of course, the year 2000 hit. None of that shit happened. He killed the website, but I have a copy of it.
Wait. No cope.
You have a copy.
No cope, no lie.
He never said he never addressed it. But it gets better because you fast forward to leading up to the year 2012. And he pulled the same exact grift, saying that we were gonna, when December 2012 hits, because of the Mayan calendar, there was be this massive solar flash event, and we were all gonna turn into light beings, and we would be able to do telekinesis and levitate and do all these things. And then that didn't happen.
No.
And then he just goes from grift to grift, but he does something that I have called the Cosmic Con Shuffle. And here's how that works. You overpromise and then you underdeliver, and all of your predictions fail miserably. So you do a shuffle away for about 6 months, and then you shuffle back in with new bullshit.
Oh, it sounds like an English guy I know.
Yeah, we have this PayPal. I busted him doing this PayPal donation scam where he claimed that one of his government insiders, police were like invading the guy's home and throwing all of his belongings in dumpsters and riding over them with bulldozers. And then that's really where the turning point was for me with him. I go, you know what? I'm just going to pick up the phone and call the local police and fact check this. And none of it was true. And so, yes, and there was a GoFundMe saying that this guy was a government insider. We checked him out. It turns out that guy's education was fake. His claimed work history was fake. David Wilcock claimed he worked for the Russian equivalent of NASA. That was fake. He claimed that all of these things, this guy actually tells David Wilcock, before the Terminator movies came out, I founded Cyberdyne Systems. And it's a real company, and I made all this technological advancements, and the Terminators were based on me, and David Wilcock ran with that. But the point is, in the text body of the GoFundMe, it's completely illegal to lie in the text body of a GoFundMe because people are donating based on what you wrote.
Right.
So they wrote everything they wrote. That was my first really big story where I felt like an investigative journalist because I called the cop, I called the bank. And what it turned out to be is that the property had gotten foreclosed on like 2 years prior. So David Wilcock runs this GoFundMe, or is involved in it, basically saying like, donate money so we can save his house. It was foreclosed on 2 years ago. They could never have gotten the house back, and the guy wasn't a government whistleblower. He was a con artist. We found out he was involved in pump and dump stock scams where they bring this guy in and pretend he was an early techno pioneer. But he said that he beat Apple and Commodore and Tandy and all these other computer companies to market with the first personal computer with the alphanumeric keyboard and all this stuff. But here's the thing, I'm a big computer guy, so I started calling all these vintage computer magazines or vintage computer museums. There's a bunch of those. Asking everybody, have you ever heard of this guy or his revolutionary computer? Nobody heard of him. So the entire text body of the GoFundMe, by the way, they scammed the UFO community out of $60,000. Yeah.
Jesus, this guy just calls everyone.
Oh yeah, I call everybody. You know what? What I don't like is we have a phenomenon that I call right-click researchers. That means most people, if you can't find the information on the internet, they're not getting it. I figured out, holy shit, if I just nobody makes phone calls anymore, but if I just start calling and fact checking everything these people say, I could be their worst nightmare. Then there was the next scam, which was one of my favorites. This guy named Emery Smith was also one of his fake government insiders. And he wrote this 25-page rambling blog post showing a bullet on a counter saying that the deep state are attacking his government insider and they put him in the hospital and all this stuff. And they did a PayPal donation scam, advertised on Jimmy Church's radio show, begging everybody, you've got to give some money. He's under deep state attack. So a little bit of time passes.
Like a used bullet.
No, this is what he's got pictures of the guy in the hospital with his the armband. So he really was in the hospital, I guess. So some time goes by, and we're able to locate the guy's father-in-law, and he turned on the guy. The guy turned on his wife or his girlfriend, his living girlfriend. It turns out he was a fallen down drunk, and when he was in the hospital, he wasn't under attack by the Men in Black or the Deep State. He was under attack by a huge gallon bottle of vodka. It was there for alcohol poisoning. They scammed the whole UFO community out of $50,000 for that. Oh yeah, it's on my channel. The Emery Smith PayPal donation scam. But then we go to his next scam, which is something called the Wilcox Spiritual Foundation, where David Wilcox started a charity. And he scammed everybody. It's public record. I got all the records. He collected $200,000. And near as I could tell, he gave a penny on the dollar he collected to other charities. But the rest of the money he spent on himself. And now he's f***ed. Here's why he hates me. Okay. He's so f***ed. He's so f***ed on this one. He is in clips that I have. They're on my Twitter. It's @StephenCambion. And here's what he's saying. He's doing for-profit YouTube streams, and he's saying this video is sponsored by the David Wilcox Foundation, my charity. So thanks for donating. But here it is. He says all these 7 cameras you see were all purchased by my foundation. And he's doing for-profit monetized YouTube streams with equipment that he purchased from the charity. No. Yes. He's so f***ed for this one. That's totally illegal. You cannot. Oh, and then we get into the 990 forms. There's a form in the United States. If you run a charity, you got to file it every year. And it just tells the public, if you have a charity, here's how much money we collected. This is what we spent it on. This greedy, rich boy slob, he spent 1 year, he spent $5,000 on meals and entertainment from charity money that he does no charity.
And how long?
He's spending in 1 year. 1 year. Whoa. Every year he's racking up thousands of dollars of meals and entertainment.
He still hasn't opened?
No, he still hasn't opened. We just got new forms. Next week is my follow-up to his charity scam. This is why he's telling everybody I'm a Satan-worshipping child predator. He's desperate to get me to stop. I am not stopping. We're gonna keep going. It gets better. It gets better. On his last year charity form, he claims that he spent $8,000 on an email service provider. I did a lot of $8,000 on an email. Yes. On an email service provider. So I did a lot of checking, and it turns out that the only email I can find for his charity is Gmail. Gmail, even if you buy a paid account, is not $8,000. Yeah. And then he's spending thousands and thousands of dollars on software and cameras and microphones. And he's using all of that shit, not for charity, but for his for-profit streams, for his for-profit company, wherein he's on record crying that he only makes $10,000 a month from YouTube. What? And he only made $258,000 last year, and it's barely enough to survive.
No. He makes our grifters to cover look like nobody, you know?
Yeah.
What's everybody to shame? What a legend.
Yeah. You should start with that first video in the folder.
Yeah,
it's called Wilcox swatting. And this video I made after he called me a Satan-worshipping pedophile and claimed I got him swatted. So I was pissed, and this was like the intro. And then we're going to see the actual swatting, what he calls the swatting.
Okay. nice house.
This is from the body cam footage.
This is pretty nice, this log cabin that he's got.
And listen, he tells people this. Listen, this is what he tells people begging for money. He's like, I'm in this uninsulated log cabin trying to survive the winter. Look at that shit. It's a log cabin mansion.
I know about freezing in log cabins. Why wasn't like this, motherfucker? Are you kidding?
So you think he's in like that house in Breaking Bad on the last season? Like, he's in the middle of, like, No, it's like his bed.
Cold in the cabin.
It's worth $2 million. We checked. It's worth $2 million.
What a cold cabin, bro. Here's the swatting.
So they're totally kicking in his door any second now, right?
Well, this is what he calls the swatting. And I did Eye of the Tiger. Listen, I had covered that song and forgotten about it, and one of my viewers remembered that because I played it on my show once with a different, like with a video or something. I don't remember why I covered that song. But, I thought, Eye of the Tiger, this guy's calling me a Satan-worshipping child predator, and he's saying he's getting me arrested. So this is like, I'm from Philly, bitch. This is fighting shit. You are not doing this shit to me. So,
Somebody has been asking really persistently in chat if you were ever on Coast to Coast AM, Steve. Did you ever guest on that or call in?
No, never been on it in any incarnation. I grew up listening to Art Bell, though. I used to cut school because I would listen to that shit all night and not be able to wake up.
Yeah, I used to love that show when I was a kid.
You should have been. You would have been amazing on that show.
Well, they don't really welcome skeptics, though. So that's if I would go on and tell them I'm a time traveler from 2037, they would have had me.
Because I got swatted by our dear friend Steven.
No, wait. May I ask you,
what an insane claim.
How many views does this have?
Oh, my video?
No,
not many.
Well,
but his, I can check for it. I think it's like 100,000
so
or more.
100,000 people.
He told 100,000 people I'm a swatter and a Satan worshiper, and you know the reason why, because I've been busting his grifts for years now, But there's a market change. Like a lot of people that even were his friends are messaging me in private and saying like, dude, you melted his brain. He never responds to any critics, never. So you melted his brain,
That's key.
Because you bring all the receipts, Steve.
I show the paperwork. I got the body cam footage of the so-called swatting event. So yeah, he's still saying I got him swatted. Like, did you not see the footage?
What is his rationale for saying that? Is it just
he did back down in one stream. He was like, well, it wasn't really a swatting. Well, you told everybody I got you swatted 27 times. And then we got the animal control officer body cam footage where he's doing a phone call. And in that, he says he's afraid that next I'm going to get him swatted. And then he lies and says he talked to the SWAT team supervisor and the Boulder County sheriff, and they're cooperating with Philadelphia authorities, and I'm going to get arrested. And there's this big investigation. There's no investigation, and he never talked to those people, because if he did, I would have got the records, because I requested all records pertaining to him.
It does smell like defamation what he's done to you.
Oh, but he's telling everybody he's suing me for slander and defamation.
I would love to see